Yo, so what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Today's video, I'm going to be outlining the pros and the cons of living in Irvine, California. Now, before I get started, hold on, my voice cracking. Before I get started, please like the video if you find any value in this. Subscribe to the channel as I drop multiple videos a week detailing what it's like to live in Orange County. And share the content if you know anybody who's looking to move out of their particular area and move into Irvine. The number one thing that I think a lot of people are going to really appreciate is how safe it is out here in Irvine. The safety out here is incredible. I was looking at some statistics on how safe Irvine in particular is, and one of the things that came up was that Irvine over the past 15 years has been voted #1 safest cities in America. And this award is given based on the statistics that are given out from the FBI. So basically, the FBI compiles all of this data. Based on this data, Irvine, California, has received this award over the past 15 years. They've gotten this award. So that right there alone lets you know how incredibly safe it is out here. The FBI compiles this data based on tens of thousands of area codes in the country. And so when they compile all that data, this is what they come up with. They came up with Irvine being top dog when it comes to safety. The second item on the list has to be the cleanliness. When I moved to Irvine, one of the first things I noticed is how clean it was. And it's so funny because when I was doing some research on things that people really value when it comes to living in Irvine, one of the things that a lot of people talk about is the cleanliness. And it's wild that cleanliness comes up. Wherever you're from, it's not that where you're from is incredibly dirty, but because Irvine puts such an emphasis on cleaning up the streets, making sure there's not any suspicious behavior going on around this area. And relatively speaking, Irvine is one of the newer cities in Southern California. So the fact that it's very noticeably clean, I think says a whole lot about Irvine. The third item on my list, I have to give a shout out to the beaches. Now, obviously, this is still Southern California. This is California. California is known for the weather. It's known for the beaches. It's known for the food. The proximity to beaches is great. I grew up in Texas. I didn't have any beaches damn near where I live. So the proximity to beaches is probably 20 minutes, depending on which beach you want to go to and what time you travel. Newport Beach, from where I live off of Jamboree, the beach is about 25 minutes, again, depending on what time you leave. There's also Pirates Cove. There is Treasure Island Beach. Those beaches are all as well about 25 minutes away via drive. So if you have a family, most families go crazy for going to the beach. So I highly recommend it. California beaches are incredible. And the fact that you are 20 minutes away from any beach at any time, I think that's a huge pro. I said number 3 on the list. It probably should have been number 1. I should have started there. The fourth item on my list I have to give credit to the Unified School District of Irvine. Based on greatschools.com, over 75% of the students are proficient in math that go through this Unified School District, and nearly 80% of said students are proficient in reading. Now, there's no need for me to get into the logistics of how America itself performs in regards to schooling, but looking at the statistics, again, go to greatschool.com, you'll see how proficient of students that this Unified School District of Irvine is producing on an annual basis. So your kids will be well taken care of in this school district. The fifth pro to living in Irvine, California has to be the proximity to a lot of family-friendly things, right? You've got Disneyland, which is maybe about 10 minutes away, depending on what time you travel. You may be looking at about a 15-minute journey. Disneyland is right down the road. Universal is about an hour away. It's about an hour drive. So you have a lot of family-friendly things that you can partake in. One of the things that I notice is going to the Irvine Spectrum Center. Kids love it. When I first went to the Irvine Spectrum Center, to me, I thought it was more so a place for grown-ups. There's a lot of eateries. There's a lot of shopping. There's a ton of things to do. So it's kind of like an outdoor mall, which makes sense now that I'm really processing the whole thing. There's a lot of things to do at the Irvine Spectrum Center. There are a ton of kids. There's oftentimes on the weekend way more kids than there are parents. Obviously, it's California, the weather's great. So what I'm assuming happens is these parents, it's the weekend, and they're like, yo, I'm gonna drop y'all off at the Irvine Spectrum Center. You can get food, you can shop, you can go to the movies, get out of my hair, you're good to go. So as far as things to do family friendly wise, I absolutely have to tip my hat off to the Irvine Spectrum Center. That's another great place for your family to go. All right, now the cons to living in Irvine, California. I have to start with the number one thing, which is the cost of living. It is incredibly expensive to live in Irvine. One of the numbers specifically that I got to throw out there is the median home price being sold in Irvine, California right now is about $1.32, $1.33 million. In comparison to the rest of America, the median home price sold is around $430,000. So there's a huge price difference there. A lot of people that I meet out here, they move out here and they're expecting to pay a lot of money because it is Irvine. In regards to the rental market, the average rent that you're gonna pay out in Irvine is about $3,200. And this number is based on about a 900 square foot average apartment size as well. So on average, you're getting about a 915 square foot apartment, and you're gonna pay about $3,200. We compare that to the national rental average in America, and that number comes out to about $1,400, $1,300 to $1,400 a month in rent across the nation. So you definitely see a huge price gap in that. And even when you compare Southern California living itself, Irvine, in comparison to the rest of California, the rental market is also very expensive. The second con on my list, I have to give to Melrose tax. Now, Melrose is just an extra tax on top of the regular property taxes that you pay when you own a property out here. I'm very familiar with it. I own a property in Ventura County, and that property has a Melrose tax. But quite simply, the reason for the Melrose tax is for added tax dollars to go into the infrastructure of Irvine, California. And again, when you visit Irvine, you'll see how incredible the infrastructure of Irvine is. Again, everything is very well taken care of. I've already detailed how clean it is out here. So the tax dollars are being spent well. All right, the next con on my list, I have to give to traffic. All right, now traffic in California itself, I'm sure everybody will say is bad, but particularly Irvine. I noticed the highest traffic is going towards LA at any point of the day. Specifically, when you are going on the 405 North, there's a fork that breaks off into the California 55. And that right there, just getting past that, again, most of the time, regardless of what time of the day it is, that area right there is going to be really congested. Now, typically going south towards San Diego, the traffic isn't as like brutal. You know what I'm saying? It's not as brutal. But when you're going to LA, which LA traffic we absolutely do not need to talk about. But LA traffic is a whole other beast. Traffic is definitely one of the things I would harp on that's a con of living out here. The main gym that I go to is off of Jamboree. Going that way at peak hours, the traffic is horrendous. It's typically between a 12 to 15 minute drive without traffic. During peak hours, like there's times where my day is booked and I have to go to the gym at like 5, 6. Oh my gosh, that 10 to 12 minute drive turns into like 20, 25. Now I'm impatient. So to some people it's like, oh, it's a 20-minute drive, what big deal. But like when you know it should take half of that it gets a little annoying. So the traffic out here is atrocious. The next con on my list, I have to, this one hits me hard because I lived in Ventura County for a while, so I've seen the direct opposite. So it's hot out here, very, very hot. You know, during the summer months, it's blazing hot. The comparison that I have is when I lived in Oxnard, I lived like 7 minutes from the beach, 10 with traffic. And when you walk outside of my house, you can literally smell the ocean. There are often times when I was in Oxnard where it was overcast and I would come out here to operate my business and bright and sunny. So you're definitely gonna get the sun, but it is hot in Irvine. Now, the last item on my list, number 5, this one's personal, all right? So if you are from Irvine and you're watching this, please, I'm not trying to offend you, but this one hits home for me, all right? It ain't no good taco trucks out here. It ain't no good taco trucks. It ain't no good taco shops. Like, y'all got nothing. This is California we're talking about. It. Y'all aren't showing any love to the taco trucks. That's frustrating. There are not many more things more American than Mexican food. Like, let's call it what it is. Y'all are lacking on the taco trucks. When you look at places like San Diego, LA, and even Ventura County, there's taco trucks in Oxnard or Ventura County. There's taco trucks in LA. There's taco shops in San Diego. Irvine, y'all ain't got none of that. All right, there you guys have it. There's my pros and cons of living in Irvine, California. Now, the fact that y'all ain't got no taco trucks out here, I still love living out here. My experience out here has been great. The people are extremely nice. I've made friends at the gym. I play basketball on a regular basis. I lift weights damn near every day. And it's very easy to talk and meet with people. So I absolutely have to tip my hat off to Irvine. If you have any questions about Irvine, if you're upset that I talked about the lack of taco trucks, let me know in the comments. Feel free to subscribe, like the video, and yeah, if you have questions, just reach out. Your boy's DMs is always open.